So right now I'm on my way to meet a potential landlord for a listing in one of my favorite buildings. That is an older building. Matter of fact, I've called it several times the best old building in the entire city. And I thought this would be a fantastic opportunity to give you a brief breakdown of this building and the building across the street from it, because I visit these buildings quite often and I get asked a lot of questions about them. That's right, the two buildings in question are 1001 Bay, which I've addressed many times on this channel, and to a lesser extent, 44 St. Joseph, the Polo Club. It's quite interesting that these two buildings will wind up across the street from each other. Quite intentional, I would probably have to say, because they really make up the same exact place in the market in terms of the primary value proposition. And I'll explain what that means in a short sec. But first, let me show you the buildings a little bit from the exterior if you're not familiar with them. You see, the primary value propositions of these towers is not their newness or their freshness. If you want sexy new buildings, state-of-the-art interior design and amenities, these are not the towers for you. However, on the flip side, if you want something very conveniently located on Bay Street, close to UFT, through the hospitals even on University Avenue, and in a well-managed, great building, and you're willing to bite the bullet on the higher maintenance fees, which are, by the way, all-inclusive, for a lower price per square foot on the buy side, then these are the towers for you. That's the space they occupy in a very, very competitive condo market. Obviously competitive in the sense that there's a lot of inventory and a lot of towers, right? Seller competition. So some brief details. 1001 Bay above me was built in 1990. And in terms of design and amenities, it was kind of ahead of its time, right? A lot of buildings nowadays do not have smart elevator systems, like stacked elevators. This building did back in 1990. You know, you have 6 elevators. It's one of the buildings where, you know, you actually have more elevators than you need, especially considering the smart system. Now on the downside, right, it doesn't have balconies, but it does have solariums to make up for that. Sometimes that's a deal breaker for some buyers. For other buyers, it's not. 1001 Bay has been selling around anywhere from the low to mid 800s per square foot, obviously depending on the unit in the last year or so. And once again, you can find a lot of spacious floor plans. Oftentimes the bigger units may need some work in terms of carpets. I have seen a lot of upgraded units though. The layouts can be a bit suspect. Once again, since it's older, you do have some of those pizza pie layouts, especially for the 2 and 3 bedrooms, which if it's renovated shows much better than if it's not renovated. The only other thing I'll bring up is sometimes the lower ceilings in this building does not appeal to buyers. But besides that, it's a fantastic building. One of my favorite, I would say probably one of the best old buildings in the entire city. And the maintenance for its age is absolutely nothing short of amazing. 1001 Bay has lower maintenance than a lot of buildings half its age, a quarter of its age. Then let's talk about 44 St. Joseph, which I find more impressive when we're talking about the higher end units, right? 44 St. Joseph has, I would say, better higher end units. When we're talking about units in the 12 to 15 to 2,000 square feet range. The maintenance is higher relative to a 1001 Bay, and it is older by 2 years. It was built in 1988. But some very rare units actually have balconies, but much like 1001 Bay, there's a lot of units, I would say 95% of units actually do not have balconies, but have solariums in exchange. And those are my thoughts on 1001 Bay and 44 St. Joseph. As always, feel free to leave your questions in the comments. That was just a brief, I guess, introductory review of both towers while I was out and about actually working. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.